This is a walkthrough of the new profiling features in Telemetry 3. Here we're looking at the timeline of a capture, and we can zoom in to a portion of the capture that we want to profile. If you right click and choose Profile View, you'll see a hierarchical breakdown of where the time went on each thread. The default is to group by thread, so you can see that each thread has its own hierarchical breakdown of time. We can also not group by thread, and this merges everything into one capture. We can flatten the hierarchy for each thread. This is the view that was in previous versions of Telemetry. And again, we can choose not to group by thread. You have to be aware that when you merge them together like this, you can get some zones that could go over 100% because the same zone is running on multiple threads at the same time. Another cool feature is that we update with the range of the timeline as long as we have this checked. So as we change the view of the timeline, we'll update dynamically the profile. This makes it really easy to kind of spot check certain sections of the capture and see very quickly where the time is going. You'll notice a little up arrow next to some of these zones here, and this is a way that we can get a reverse hierarchy of what's happening. So let's find an interesting one. If we click here, we'll see the profile going back up the call stack. So in this case, GFX shader constants math buffers we can see was called by vertex shader activate 141,000 times, and it was also called by pixel shader activate 63,000 times. So this is showing all the ways back up the stack that this zone was called. We have some other helpers in here too. So we don't just have the option to profile the view, we can also just profile an individual zone. When we profile an individual zone, we won't see the thread information because it's just one zone. But we get all the same features. We can do reverse hierarchy lookups, we can flatten, and we can sort these things different ways, so we could have them ascending or descending. We can also profile just one frame, and this is cool because we could profile 2 frames and then put them side by side and compare them. So if you had one frame that was worse than another one, you could see the differences between the two. We can also profile just one track. So we could look at just the physics track for the visible time that we have here. And again, we can flatten the hierarchy and do reverse hierarchy lookups. And when we're in the profile view mode, we can also use the track filter. So let's say we were only interested in looking at worker threads. If we do the track filter up here in the timeline, it'll only show worker threads in the profile results. And if we wanted to, we could merge these all together. So now we're basically seeing the merged worker thread pool profiling information. Another important thing to note is that the track filter can be used with multiple filter targets. So let's say we wanted to add the render thread. Now we've got the render thread and the 3 worker threads. So it's a good way to isolate what we're profiling. As you can see, as you zoom out further, if there's more information, the profile takes longer. So in this case, we're looking at a 60-second capture, a little over 60 seconds. So this could take a little while to profile. If you ever want to stop the profile, you can press stop profile. In this case, we've made it about 1/3 of the way through. It'll show you the results up to 1/3 of the way through, up to when you stopped the profile. And if you ever wanted to stop updating with the range, like if you said, I want to leave this information right here and then be able to look around, you can do that as well by untoggling the update with timeline. So that's a quick rundown of the new profiling features in Telemetry 3.